Okie dokie, here we are, everybody. We are here for the final round of our Winter Invitational for Legacy of the North Season 2. Here we have, in the finals, Jessie on player one side, piloting Temur Delver, and her opponent today in the finals is Elliot, piloting Turbo Goblins. So this is going to be utilizing the name sticker goblin and trying to just pull Muxus out as quickly as possible and just flood the board full of goblins. So helping me here in the finals today is going to be Kevin. Kevin, welcome back. How's it going?
Hey, thanks, Ben. It's going good. How about you?
We're almost there. I love commentating Magic, don't get me wrong, but sometimes when it's working 24/7 and you're trying to get out all these coverage videos, you know, sometimes it gets a little tedious. But all in all, who am I kidding? I can never complain about watching Magic. Right?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for all the work you do for the Legacy community.
Oh, stop!
It's really nice to be able to see this kind of footage again.
Oh, stop! You're making me blush. And down comes Goblin Rabble Master.
Notably playing around days.
Yes. If I was the one piloting goblins, I would have ran that into a daze, no problem.
So I think in this matchup, Elliot is probably looking to try to be more of a fair plan and probably just try to look to play Muxus on a later turn. I don't think he's in a rush to slam Muxus very quickly. Like something like a Rabble Master is just going to produce a lot of pressure by itself.
Yeah, but in the face of Jessie's board here, 2 Dragon's Rage Channelers going to cast a Ponder, triggering 2 Surveils. So the single Ponder is getting a view at a lot of cards here. So going to Surveil twice, put both of them into the graveyard. One of them's a Ponder, the other one is a Questing Druid.
Yeah, notably Questing Druid, the new addition. I guess one of the main reasons to be Temur as opposed to the traditional, the more traditional Grixis version of Delver. Questing Druid, I guess, is like the new card advantage card. It's meant to replace Expressive Iteration. I think how does this card read? I believe it's the Adventure side is 1 in a red, and it's an instant, and you exile the top 2 cards of your library, and you can cast them until your next end step. Is that right?
Yeah. You can. I don't know if it says end step, but it says you can cast it until the end of your next turn.
Yeah, the end of your next turn. Yeah, that's right. And then the front side is it's a 2-mana 1/1 that gets pumped from all non-green, or I guess like blue, black, red, and white spells. We'll give it a +1/+1 counter.
Yeah, I think it's is it Quarian Dryad that it was labeled off of?
Yeah, it's templated around Quarian Dryad.
All right, so
this is
Jesse resolves the Ponder. Elliot gonna go to his turn, going to try to resolve a Broadside Bombardier. Jesse wholehandedly has a Force of Will prepared for it.
So Broadside Bombardier is the new addition to this Goblin deck, and this card is, I think it's a little bit innocuous, but from what I've seen, it's been very, very powerful. Just as a way to push extra damage and get rid of your loose lingering tokens. Yeah, unfortunately, Rabble Masters makes all goblins forced to attack, so Jesse gets to eat up the board here.
Yeah,
and the Force of Will is very timely on the Bombardiers because the Bombardiers would have been able to just eat these 2 DRCs with the tokens since they weren't delirious, since the DRCs were not delirious yet.
Well, he would only be able to get rid of one of the Dragon's Rage Channelers because you can only activate it once per turn.
Oh yeah, that's right. My mistake.
But here's Jesse going to cast a Brainstorm and going to resolve these Surveils here. Looked at one of them, it was a Wasteland and ditches it. Second is a Delver. Now we're going to resolve the Brainstorm.
Would be really nice to find a Lightning Bolt here. I think that would put Jesse very, very, very far ahead.
She kind of already is looking a little far ahead.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, it's very hard for like these Goblin decks to deal with boards that are like bigger than them, right? Like these Dragon's Rage Channelers, because there's the 2 of them, and they got to look through so many cards, they got Delirium very quickly. I guess,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
sorry.
true. So yeah. So I think Goblins doesn't really have as much interaction anymore. I like they used to play Munitions Expert and things like that, and Gem Palm Incinerator. But I think now because of Sticker Goblin being able to have these more explosive starts, they're leaning more combo oriented now, right? Like they're trying to get to Muxus. Like they're playing things like Chrome Mox and City of Traders, where before they were more, it was like a fair, honest mid range deck with Aether Vials and Wastelands and Rashad Import. It was almost like a red Death and Taxes.
Yeah.
But now it's much more streamlined and aggressive.
I think another big difference too is that I've never seen like the Goblin deck that you're referring to, but they are mono red, and I think Munitions Expert is a Rakdos color combo, right? Or am I
Yeah,
misremembering?
Munitions Expert. No, you're right. Munitions Expert is cost black and red. That was the more maybe the older versions. I know originally they had Badlands for cards like Thoughtseize
Mhm.
and Earwig in the sideboard to fight the combo decks, but now you to fight the combo decks you just put Muxus into play on turn one.
Yeah. I was gonna
But the
say,
board here is
yeah,
sorry, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say that because Dragon's Rage Chandlers had to attack, there would be some possible way for Elliot to kind of try to outrace, but now looking down this Murktide region, don't think that's quite possible anymore.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pretty difficult situation. I think I did see Jesse had a Daze in hand. I don't know if it's still there after the brainstorm, but yeah, Daze would be able to take out a Muxus as well. So I think this race is not. This looks like Ringleader's mana. Oh, he does have a Ringleader in hand.
Yeah, I also saw a glimpse of a Battle Cry Goblin and a Rabble Master. There's a
Pretty
Daze.
devastating, but I agree with him going for it there. I think your spot is really bad. You're facing down 2/3/3s and a 5/5 flyer. You're on a 2-turn clock. You sort of have to just hope your Ringleader sticks and get a War Chief and start crashing around these. Try and race for it, basically.
Yeah, I wonder now that like how you were describing that these decks are much more streamlined for goblins. I wonder if there's any space for them to be playing Furies, or what's the spell version of Fury? The one that it was
Oh,
yeah, I
Pyrokinesis.
wonder if it has
Yeah.
any space to be running those.
I think those cards would be in Elliot's sideboard.
Mm,
Probably as a way to contest elves and D&T. But I don't know how. I think Fury is still good against Delver because you can tag Questing Druid and DRC and Delver of Secrets.
and Brazen Borrower.
So I expect yeah, and Brazen Bar. So I expect those to come in, and I'm not sure what else he has to fight these Delver decks, but I know that Goblins will traditionally play a lot of Pyroblast type effects in their sideboard, since those are also good against the combo decks and the fair blue decks. But traditionally, I feel like Goblins was favored in these types of matchups, but I think going more all in and the more combo-y route has actually made them a little bit softer. Because you'll have cards in your deck like Chrome Mox and Muxus that may not be so good against Delver, against Daze, things like that.
Hmm. And I mean, we're seeing it kind of right now, right? Like Elliot has this Muxus that's just rotting in his hand. Even if he does get like a Cavern of Souls, it's still not enough mana. He'll be short just one. But here's Jessie just cantripping as much as she wants to.
I think she's looking for a lethal hit here, right? This is 11 right now. If she draws Lightning Bolt, this is
Yeah,
just the
and
game.
there
Oh,
it
so she
is.
found it.
Yep. So that is going to be
Yeah,
Jessie taking game number 1.
Yeah, that Force of Will was absolutely critical. Broadside Bombardiers would have been able to deal with the DRCs if it had stuck.
Mm-hmm. So I think Elliot was looking to bring in some unlicensed hearse.
Mm-hmm. Unlicensed Hearts to check the key threats in Temur. I think maybe I don't know if the decklists are open here, but maybe he suspects that because of Temur there might be cards like Tarmogoyf for Nimble Mongoose. But in any case, like just being able to cut Murktides off and turn Dragon's Rage Chandler off is just probably good enough, right? Like Goblins makes a lot of 1/1s. If you can shrink down DRC, then you're in a pretty good position.
Yeah, it's
And
I
maybe
I
he's
think it is a fantastic card against Delver, just like especially in Goblins, when you have like a Rabble Master out, you can kind of just start crewing your tokens into the unlicensure so that they don't actually have to attack. And then
oh, that's also a good point. Yeah, that's smart.
it also is a presentable threat in the later game. Yeah.
So I see Elliot brought in chalices. I think he brought in chalice, hearse, and pyrokinesis. So no pyroblast, which I think it's probably also okay to not really board in pyroblast
Mhm.
because pyroblast is mostly going to be for the sake of killing Murktide and protecting your own spells against Force of Will. But I think the mana situation is a little bit tight. Like it kind of sucks that he can't board out Chrome Mox, which is I don't know if it's superb in this matchup, but because you have so many expensive spells, I think you just are priced into keeping them in, right?
Mhm.
Like to be able to cast Ringleader and Muxus consistently, you're gonna have to have that Chromox. And I think Chromox also gives you a lot of turn one explosiveness, and I think just because of the way the deck is built now, you just have to lean into that plan. You can't really board into a fair plan so easily anymore.
Yeah, and even like your mid-range goblins that he's going to be trying to play, like there's still high mana costs. Like the Goblin Ringleader alone is 4 mana, and it's just to get some extra
Yeah,
cards back into your hand.
I wonder if his main deck has caverns in it.
Oh, they
That would
have
be
to, right? I think we did.
yeah,
I
I think
think
it makes sense.
we did a cover. I think Steven and I did a
Oh,
cover
there's one right
together.
there.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So there is a cavern. Jesse showing Mishra's Bauble, Dragon's Reach Channeler. I think that is a Force of Will. Um, I can't tell what the card in the middle is. It might be a fetch land, but both players are going to keep their
Yeah, makes sense.
sevens. Whoa.
Oh, so an uncounterable sticker goblin right off the bat. But this can get Force of Will, so
Oh.
oh, that's devastating.
Yeah, I mean, Elliot didn't come here not to do that, right? So if he has it, he's got to
Yeah,
try to have it. It's just the force of will check.
yeah, I think yeah. I mean, if you're gonna show up with Muxus goblins and you have turn one Muxus, so you're not here to not slam it, right? Like the thing is, if you don't slam it, you're never gonna get to this Muxus. Like the rest of the cards in his hand, I think is I saw a Battlecry Goblin and another spell. So if you don't go now,
Ooh,
you're sort of in a hard
the
way.
wasteland into the counter souls.
And I think that's his only land, right?
I think so. Nope, there's an ancient
Oh no,
tomb.
he had Ancient Tomb. Okay.
All right, so Jesse down to 17 after taking 2 damage from this delusionary goblin. She's going to fetch into a misty rainforest, into a volcanic island, and then slam down a Dragon's Reach Channeler. Past the turn, Elliot going to draw for his, bring Jesse down to 16, attacking with the delusionary goblin again. Going to bring himself down to 18. Here is the unlicensed hearse we were talking about earlier. Going to keep this Dragon's Reach Channeler as small as possible.
Yeah, unfortunately, it might be a little bit too little, too late. I'm not sure what Elliot can really do from here because he is a bit stuck on mana, and his best place to get him back in will be a lot of more expensive spells. Like if he found land ringleader, then maybe he could come back into this game. But yeah, definitely a tough spot.
Oof. Okay, so Jesse leaning on a second Dragon's Reach Channeler, and then casting a Mishra's Bubble, double triggering Surveil. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't.
the second Dragon's Rage is gonna make this is gonna make it a lot harder for the unlicensed hearse to keep up. There's the aforementioned ringleader, so now he just needs 2 lands.
I mean, I guess technically this unlicensed curse will will continue to grow, right? Like it's gonna eat this Mishra's Bauble and Misty Rainforest, and it's gonna be like a 4/4 that this Delusionary Goblin can crew. I think
Yeah,
it
that
is
is
true
true.
too.
I think yeah, it's crew too. I think that's gonna have to be Elliot might have to lean towards that game plan pretty soon because it looks like it's hard for him to continue putting resources.
There's a lightning bolt. Takes care of the Delusionary Goblin. Unlicensed Hearse can no longer be crewed.
Yeah, and Elliot with a bunch of uncastables.
Yeah, Elliot's struggling to find a colored source of mana. All right, so Jesse going to be surveilling off of these lightning bolts. Looks like both of them are going to stay on the top. Unlicensed Heart's going to get rid of the two non-land cards, Mishra's Bauble and Lightning Bolts. Go up to 4 counters. Jesse going to untap for her turn. Draw. She knows what it is because of the Surveils. There's a Brainstorm. Going to trigger Surveils once again. Mishra's Bauble into the bin. And Polluted Delta also into the bin. I think that's a Lightning Bolts. Daze, and I don't know what the middle card from the Brainstorm was.
Looks like a cantrip of some. Looked like a blue card of some sorts, but I think Wasteland maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a Wasteland.
I think you can either keep Daze or the Wasteland here, or you can keep both actually. I think if you keep both, you're kind of locking this game up.
Yeah.
Wastelanding the Ancient Tomb is going to make it very hard for Ellie to cast any spells. And yeah.
Yeah, this Unlicensed Curse, even though it came down actually quite early in the game, not gonna be enough.
Yeah, it's really hard to beat double Surveils. Like, if this is a crack for 6, then even if they only end up hitting for 2 for the rest of the game, these DRCs will still be they'll still be able to close the game out by themselves.
Oh, she's not using the Wasteland. Ooh. She's going to put the Questing Druid on an adventure. Surveilling, going to ditch a Murktide Regent, and a Tropical Island.
So she's trying to get Delirium quickly here.
And I think she does have it, right? Artifact, creature, land, instant?
Yes, that's right.
Alright, there's 6 damage coming into Elliot, bringing him down to 11.
So I'm curious what the last card in Jesse's hand is. This must be another Daze, because I probably would have considered leaving that first Daze in hand to try to stop any 3-drop here off of Mountain.
Mm-hmm. Alright, Elliot going to draw for his turn. It is a Battlecry Goblin. So still has a ton of uncastable cards in the hand. Looks like he's just going to be taking care of Delirium here. Activates Unlicensed Hearse, eats the Mishra's Bauble and the Murktide Regent. This brings Jesse's Delirium count back down to 2, which is land and instant. Going to activate the Wasteland, take care of the Ancient Tomb, go into attackers, and bring Elliot down to 9. Elliot going to draw for his turn, finds a mountain, but it might be a little bit too late here.
Yeah, I think that's probably all she wrote. Jesse didn't play the Wasteland out of exile from Questing Druid. I think these cards all kind of got mixed up with the Unlicensed Hearse pile.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think I saw a Daze in her hand, so looks like is that Force of Will also? Looks like most everything will get. Yeah, okay, if the Force of Will is getting binned, then
Oh, she's going to keep one of them on top.
Land Murktide Region would be pretty good. Just make a 4/4. It's a consistent hitter. Tropical Island would also be a pretty good draw. Just being able to put something into play around this, something like Unlicensed Hearse would be nice, because the clock is. I feel like Elliot's just in a position where, because he committed so many resources to the Muxus, it doesn't really matter. Like he needs too many cards to be able to get going again. That you don't need to rush to get these Dragon's Rage Channelers pumped. But if you can, obviously it's kind of a freebie here.
Yeah.
All right, on top.
I think this might be lethal, right?
Lethal. This looks like just a lethal attack.
That is lethal, so Jesse will be taking it over Elliot in 2 games. So that will be the end of the tournament, and unfortunately for us, she is the current points leader for Legacy of the North Season 2. So that means she is Queen of the North. So congratulations to Jessie. What that means for us is we will not have a Royalty of the North match this season.
Yeah, congratulations to Jessie. Well done. Pretty solid play there. I think that was the game 1 was a really, really interesting match that came down to Force of Will, and then Force of Will overperformed again. Like I think normally Force of Will is not that good against goblins, like the traditional goblins build, but against this the sticker goblin combo version, Force of Will Force of Will could stop all of the most powerful cards here. So
Yeah. So we, by now when this video comes out, we're going to be knee deep into the third season of Legacy of the North. So look forward to the Spring Invitational, guys, and we will see you next time.